Hello RuneScape fans, Vamoria here, welcoming you to a brand new series that I like to call RuneScape Quick Lore. Now, I love RuneScape Lore, I'm a huge fan for it, but the problem is that there isn't really any accessible way to get into it. Sure, there are videos that exist that are like 37 minutes worth of just talking, and I don't want that. I want there to be a quick, easy, digestible way to absorb the really fascinating lore of RuneScape. So that's what this series is going to be about. The timeline of RuneScape is split up into ages. The first age, the second age, the third age, etc, etc. You get the idea. I'm going to be starting with this first video in a land before time, before the first age, kind of prehistory, you might say. Now, if you've ever played Mass Effect, you may recognise some similarities. Effectively, RuneScape's history works in cycles. A civilization will rise up and then be destroyed. This is where we start the story of RuneScape. Now, the current cycle of history begins on a planet called Runescape. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. If I'm wrong, go and sound off in the comments at me about how I am pronouncing the name of a fictional place wrong. That's a good use of time. Anyway, back to Runescape. Our story starts with the Elder Gods, 5 beings that hatch from some immortal style eggs and go about creating an event called the Great Revision. Effectively what this is the Elder Gods travelling around the whole known universe and just kind of devouring it Galactus style. Oh, I should say, I said 5? That's not technically correct. There were 4 to start, and the 5th one, Ma, came later, but we will get to that. Right now, Ma was presumed to be stillborn, which is nice and dark, exactly what you want in your MMOs. The 4 active gods utilise tools known as the Elder Artefacts to better help them create worlds. The aim is to create the ultimate world to provide unlimited amounts of anima, which is basically, I guess, life force. This is a lot of effort. If you've ever tried making something, it's really difficult. So one of the Elder Gods, Full, used one of the Elder Artefacts, the Elder Kiln, to create some construction workers for him, the Tok'ha. They help to sculpt the mountains on these new worlds. Once a world is created, if it's not quite good enough, then the Elder Gods abandon it and just move on to the next one in their quest to find the ultimate world. Okay, so remember the Great Revision from earlier. While that was going on, a race known as the Dragonkin decided to kind of hide because, I mean, it's a weird, controversial choice, but they didn't want to be completely and totally annihilated. I mean, different strokes for different folks. Upon finding this out, that they survived, Jas, one of the other Elder Gods, decides to punish the Dragonkin for their insolence, and he enslaves them and turns them into guardians of an Elder Artifact known as the Stone of Jas. He decrees that if the stone is ever controlled by a quote-unquote false user, then the Dragonkins will be forever tormented and in immense pain. That is important later, we will again come back to it. Okay, so remember Ma, the stillborn Elder God from earlier? Surprise! Yay, she's not stillborn! Yay, the story gets a happy ending! So she wakes up cold and alone, completely abandoned by her brothers and sisters, and we're right back to being sad again. Anyway, to alleviate that crushing loneliness, Ma makes 2 quote-unquote toys for herself. These are the gods Zaros and Seren. Not wanting to stick around, Zaros immediately bolts and goes off to explore the various worlds, while Seren, who kind of feels a bit sad for Ma, she's had a rough life after all, she sticks around a bit to kind of be a helper. Ma begins creating her own races, primarily the Majorat, the Chelon Ma and the Maserat, Those last two are not really important. They are so super dead that they don't appear in the game. They are only alluded to as far as I'm aware. Eventually, Seren buggers off and she ends up living with the elves on, off the top of my head, I believe Tardiad? I may need to double check that, but I believe that's correct. You might think that someone who is making videos about the lore of a game that he loves would take the time to learn the things properly, and shut up, this is quick lore. This is quick, snappy. It's hot, it's quick. It's quick lore. It's quick lore, please forgive my mistakes. At this point in the story, we find ourselves in Gielinor. After creating Gielinor and its moon Xanaris, the Elder Gods deem it to be perfect, and they quote unquote lie down upon their perfect world and spoke no more. I'll let you decide what you think that means, but I would hazard a guess they're maybe dead. Anyway, the Elder Artefacts still exist and are scattered throughout the universe. Several mortals use their power to attain godhood. Chief amongst these is thought to be Saradomin. Now, Saradomin turns up on a planet named Naragus, and immediately gets to work proving what a horrible god he is by raising a city in retaliation for some disrespect that he felt he had been shown. Saradomin's pissy fit attracts Tuska, an animalistic god whose only goal is to destroy worlds. There's a lot of destruction in this game. Feeling guilty, Saradomin sticks around to defend Naragus. As he kinda should, it sort of is his fault that Tuska turned up. The Barney that those two have attracts a further god, Skargaroth, who wields a sword that's forged by the Elder Gods. These three fighting completely wrecks the Naragus race. Who will stand up to fight these three gods? Who but a lowly mortal known as Guthix? Enraged by the fact that literally everything he has ever known is being destroyed before his very eyes, he enters the fray. He steals Skargaroth's sword, stabs Tuska, blinding her and causing her to run away like a little piggy. He stabs Skargaroth, kills him, and at the same time attains godhood. Saradomin kind of just runs away because, I mean, I try not to be biased, but Saradomin is a big blue pansy. I do not like Saradomin. I do not like him. I do not like him, Sam I am. I do not like Saradomin, green eggs, and ham. I don't know what I'm doing. Feeling no connection to the literal hellhole that is now his home planet, Guthix decides to travel the realms and visit many worlds. On his travels, he runs into Seren, and the two quickly become friends. Now, in another part of the universe, the Dragonkin, frustrated by their enforced servitude to Jas, strive to create beings that are their equal in power, but not tied to Jas. This is the beginning of the Dragons. And that, sadly, concludes our riotous romp through the prehistory of RuneScape. But don't worry, don't you worry your little heads, because next time we're going to be looking at the First Age, and that is where stuff starts to get really interesting. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe if you liked it, leave a like, and also leave a comment telling me what you think of Saradomin, because I can't be the only one that has an irrational hatred for that big blue bastard. Once again, I've been Vimoria, thank you very much for watching, and good scaping.